Hello everyone, it's Andrea, and today I am bringing up the end of our creative design team video collaboration where we discuss our Days of December sketchbook. So the girls and I, if you've not yet seen the project with the other girls, we have designed this sketchbook and it includes 46 different sketches. We have 6x8 sketches, and down towards the back of the book we have some 3x4 sketches for pocket pages, and then we also have some 4x6 sketches for pocket pages. But there are 46 sketches all in this book, and I printed mine onto cardstock. I've used a 3-ring punch and put them into a 3-ring binder, and I have the cover in here in the front cover. So this is an inexpensive way, if you don't have the budget to print and send it to your local office supply store to have it bound. This is an inexpensive way to handle that. I think you can even get binders and sleeves at the Dollar Tree if you so desire. So I'm going to focus on showing you a couple of my own pages from my own sketches here. But first, I just wanted to talk to you about the products that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to focus on our Christmas Story paper pack. I just loved this paper pack and sticker sheet because there was just such traditional colors in it, and it just really made me happy. These gold foil accents here, I'm hoping you can see them. They're just so fun. And that's on this page in our new catalog, page 16. And I'm just going to set this aside. We also will be using, I will be using throughout the album, I plan to, our Picture My Life cards. These are our pocket card pages, and they're just adorable, and I can definitely use them throughout my album. I'm not going to use them on these first 2 pages, however. I've tried to keep it very simple. We have the Christmas Story embellishments, and you'll see there's acrylic shapes, there's gold glitter, there's black chipboard, red chipboard. They're all right here, and they're beautiful because you can layer those up. Aren't they pretty? That's right here. And there are also Picture My Life cards right here. Like I said, I won't be using those in this particular couple of pages, but what I will be using is pieces from this digital art collection. And what I'm going to use on these 2 pages is this big wreath right here, but I'm going to shrink it down very tiny. And you might remember, if you were in our 31 Days of Christmas Cards 2022 with the creative design team, I used that wreath to make one of our Christmas cards. So this is just a fun interactive card. And I cut the wreath out. This time I sized it really tiny and cut it out of some pine glitter paper. So I'm going to use that shape, but I just thought it was important for you to see it, you know, a little bit bigger, because it is such a delicate cut when it comes to the glitter cardstock, and I've sized it down so much I wanted you to see what it looked like. I'm also planning on bringing in, I have our Moxie alphabet. Now this is a stamp set with thin cuts, and it layers up, and I'm using that for my numbers in my Day of December album. So you'll see those. I've already done the cutting and stamping. I'm going to use our brand new Holly embossing folder and stencil. I'm just going to use one of the pieces of the stencil. So I'm actually going to pull that out right now. I'd already looked at it, and I decided I was going to use just the piece of the stencil. It's a really unique product here. So I used a piece of the stencil that had like lots of berries on it and some leaves. And we're going to use this just as a background, just to give us a little texture. So I'm going to keep that out. And that's where we're going to start. So I've already pre-cut. Our sketchbook gives you measurements, which is great. The measurements are really easy to follow, basic measurements, but I've adhered patterns cardstock already down to my 6x8 white daisy card bases. Now I worked a little backwards. If you heard the other girls talking, they definitely went ahead and made sketches and then put their pages together. I worked the other way. My mind wanted me to create some pages and then get the measurements and make a sketch. So I went a little bit different. I wanted to execute my plan before I went ahead and committed to a sketch. You might notice that I had already adhered some cardstock over this piece. I was trying to loosely adhere it, but it really stuck. And so I have a couple little rips here, but don't worry, it's going to get covered up by some cardstock really soon, and it will not be an issue at all. I just wanted to show you, I'm going to bring in the stencil, and I have a few places on here that I want to stencil. And I have some Nebula glitter gel. This is Stickles brand, and Close to My Heart carries this, and you can tell it's well loved. I really, really love this color. It's just subtle and has lots of stars in it, so I'm just going to try to mix it up a bit. Mine is getting a little bit older, so it's a little bit gummy, but I think it'll still work. I'm just going to put some down on the stencil, so I'm just putting the stencil right on the page, and I'm just going to use my little palette knife. I'm going to go down the length of the stencil, and I'm trying not to go off the edge of the stencil here. And I don't think you're really going to be able to see these details very boldly when we lift this, but it'll leave just a little shimmer and glitz behind. And that's all that I wanted to do, was just put a little glitz down on this paper. So I'm just going to line this up and use what's left on here. And then we're going to have to set this aside and let it dry for just a short while. I'm going to continue on and do the same to this page. I'm just going to rotate the stencil around, and we will just put some glitter gel down on this page as well. And that's exactly what I was going for in this album. I just wanted a little bit of a special treatment here. And so that's what we did. So we'll let this dry and we'll come back and build the rest of the layout. Right up here in the top of our sticker sheet, there are these scalloped stickers, and I know that they're really hard to see, but there's 2 of them, and I took one and I cut it right in half at the 6-inch mark. So I got 2 pieces of the sticker. What I also did, and you might be able to see here, is I brought in our liquid gold markers. There are 3 different size markers here, and they all have different tips. So I pulled out the 0.7 millimeter, and I simply went all along the edge of that scalloped border. So you just have to give these a good shake. Mine's already started, and I just went right along the edge, and it gave them more definition along the scallop, because you might notice that my cardstock is mink, and these stickers are pretty mink as well. And so I thought that just gave them a little definition. I'm going to go ahead and lay down some of the paper that I've already glued and taken off. So you'll see that there's some adhesive on the back here already, and we're just going to place this down according to my sketch. And so just going to go ahead and line this up. Like I told you before, we're covering up that little mistake that I had down there with the cardstock. So we've got that down. I have another little piece of cardstock right here, and this is going to go right next to this one. I'm just going to tuck it right in here underneath. Move this out. Underneath this big scarlet piece of cardstock. So we now have that down. Let me give that a little rub down. 2 3x3 photos are in the sketch. So I have my photo placeholders, and I'm just going to place those right here, one next to each other. Now, you might have noticed that some of the girls were doing photo mats. My plan is that I can use these photo placeholders and just put a 3x3 photo in each of them. And if I want, I can even trim my photo down just a little bit and use these as photo mats. So you'll see the white as a photo mat. We have that down, and now it's simply a matter of embellishing. One of the things that I think is a big star of the show are the little numbers. And here I have an example number. I have day number 2. I'm not sure what days these pages are going to be yet, but I have used our Moxie alphabet mink cardstock. I've cut it out of, and black ink, and I popped that up. I like the way that that looked. I have a pine circle, a stitched circle that I cut from a thin cut, and then just a white circle that I cut from a thin cut as well. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to adhere that right down. Oh, let's see. It goes right here according to the sketch. And now I thought when I put these together, it was a little too plain for my liking. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to bring in that shape that I showed you on the card from the 31 Days of Christmas cards. Cut it out using my Cricut Maker and some of our pine glitter cardstock. And I'm just going to adhere that down on top here. I'm just going to go right there. So I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glue. I have our green mono adhesive here. Just putting little dots all around the wreath. And that should do the trick to adhere this down. Now this was like the most delicate shape that I think I've ever cut on my Cricut, because literally it's being held together by a thread. But when you put it down on top of that number placeholder, isn't it just gorgeous? I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to place the number 2 there. But again, that might be subject to change. So I'm just going to lift this up and place it. You'll get the idea. And then we're just going to place the other embellishments. So what do I have? I have this beautiful little poinsettia sticker. This poinsettia came right from the sticker sheet, and it's just a stunning, stunning little poinsettia, I think. I'm going to move this right there. Put that right about there. And then I have a little believe that I've included on the sketch. It looks like a little star on the sketch, but I'm going to use this little tag, and that's just going to get tucked right in there. And then for this, to finish this off, I just have some little 1/4 inch journaling strips. They're 1/4 inch tall, and those will go down here as well. I'm going to tack those very, very lightly, because I most likely will need to lift those at some point again to make sure that my journaling is all fits within the boundaries of these little strips. If not, I can always add another 1 or 2 and trim as needed. We're going to go ahead and just stick those down. And here's the last one. So that is our finished page. I went with this color scheme because I thought that these papers are really busy. So I wanted a busy paper with a couple of really muted toned down papers. So that's why I went ahead and did it in this manner. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the big bold paper as my long strip. And then we will use the littler one as our little accent. So it's the reverse of what we did on the first layout. So we'll adhere that down. We have the little sticker once again, and it is edged in the gold, and I just love the way that that looks, little gold accent. I'm just bumping that right up against the black patterned cardstock here. I have scarlet cardstock, patterned paper here, I should say. And that is going to get tucked right under. And I want it to be about the same height as the busier paper is over here. So I've just lined those up. And again, they could be totally independent in your book. They do not have to be together. But I just felt like to give them some unity here on the page was a really good idea. I'm just going to switch these pages around for a moment, because now I'm going to line up my photo mats. Everything is moving on camera here on me, but there we go. That looks pretty good. I slide those back into the position that I want them in, and then we're going to embellish here as well. So let me just pull off, and I've already begun to adhere. You can see that this one came apart just a bit when I went ahead and pulled it off my Cricut mat ever so gently, but it is so delicate. So I can just lay some more glue down here, and we will just stick this into place. And nobody will ever know that this little wreath has a little breaking point right there. So we'll just hide that. This particular wreath is going to go down in the lower left corner, right down here. We have a bigger poinsettia sticker I'm going to put right here. I have the number 3, which I'm just going to lay on top here. Again, this is not adhered down yet because we are going to allow for this album to get shuffled around. And I have one of the beautiful little stickers. This one says Christmas Traditions, and it has some gold accents on it. And this was pulled right from the sticker sheet as well. So I'm just pulling the foam tape off the back here. And that's going to go right here. Let me bring these up closer here to the light, to the camera, so you can see the detail. I know my 2 is sliding around, but can you see the detail of that pretty little wreath that we took from a whole full page and shrunk it down? The glitter cardstock is just beautiful. There are some sparkly little elements that you can see that travel up this page here, and that is from our glitter gel. And I just love that. Like I said, I was going for a very understated little stencil, and I think that that just worked beautifully. It's there, but it doesn't take over the layout. And then on this side, same thing. We have the beautiful glitter gel that travels up the page. We have a little leaf there, and down the page, we have the wreath. See the gold accents along that sticker? I just think that that came out beautifully. Those little markers are worth their weight in gold, I'll tell you. If you'd like to go ahead and make your own Creative Design Team Days of December album, I will put the link to purchase that sketchbook down below in the video description. Also, if you would like more information about going ahead and participating in our 31 Days of Christmas Cards event replay, I will link that down below in the video description as well. If you've not yet checked out all of my team members' videos on their Days of December pages, I will have the link for you right there on that screen. You just go ahead and click it and it'll bring you through the playlist. Lastly, if you've not become one of my subscribers, please click that center button to subscribe. Thanks for watching and have a creative day.